From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie Butko.
It's going to be a 54-yard field goal attempt to win the football game. 2 0-4 teams. It comes down to this. The snap, the hold, the kick. It's short. It's short. And Tunde Adeleke will run it out and slide at the 12-yard line. There's no time left. The game is over. The Tiger Cats get their first victory of the season. And boy, was it dramatic. 25-23. Tiger Cats are in the win column. Wow.
RJ Broadhead and Luke Tasker with the call as heard right here on the Ticats Audio Network. The Ticats picking up their first win of the season on Saturday, defeating the Redblacks 25-22. Louie Butko here on the Ticats Audio Network. Ticats Today. Thanks so much for checking in with us. Short week. Ticats right back at it Thursday. Busy week. They were back at the practice field today and making some moves too, and we'll get to that in just a second. Once again, thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows on the Ticats Audio Network, including a brand new episode of the CFL This Week. Bubba O'Neill joined by a great trio of guests to discuss the big topics of the week, and they actually recorded it this morning, so they didn't get the news we're about to get to on the show, but we got it for you as the Hamilton Tiger Cats announced earlier today that they have added Khari Jones as a football operations consultant. He brings over 25 years of CFL experience, including 14 years of coaching experience. Most recently, he was the head coach and OC of the Montreal Alouettes. He also served as offensive coordinator with the Alouettes, the BC Lions, and here in Hamilton with the Tiger Cats, and was a quarterbacks coach with the Ticats from 2009 to 2010. He's a Grey Cup champion. He's a player, and he's now a member of the Hamilton Tiger Cats organization. We're going to hear from Khari Jones in just a second. We're going to hear from Dane Evans. We'll hear from Bralon, Addison. Coach O coming up in just a second. RJ Broadhead, who you heard off the top, he's going to be by too. We'll get his thoughts on Saturday's game. So big show Monday, kicking it off right. But let's start as we always do. Here is the president of football operations and head coach of the Ticats, Orlondo Steinauer, as he spoke after practice, talking about bringing on Khari Jones to the front office.
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is that resources like this just aren't available. They're usually offensive coordinators, they're head coaches, and you just can't gain that. And so it started the process. It's never overnight, and both sides had to kind of feel comfortable with it. And once we felt like there was a mutual thing and there was some roles kind of defined and some expectations set, it was really a no-brainer. Just himself. We don't have those type of expectations. We've got an offensive coordinator. We've got a quarterback coach. Tommy does a fantastic job. We look at this as adding value, to be honest with you. And it's not just that. Like, he's coming on board. He's going to be a tremendous help to me. This isn't about optics. This is selfishly, this is going to be a big help to myself. And this is also going to be a good help to Mark Washington. He's going to know how they tried to attack us and different things. He's going to bring an element of that, and he's also going to help special teams. He's also game planned the East Division for years, and there's just so many other things than what is going to be questions that are going to be peppered. There's just value as him being in the league also, and so we're just looking forward to whatever he brings. We want him to bring himself and at the pace that works for us. Again, we're adding value to value. And that's the way this is approached. And we're excited at that. So if you think we haven't thought through what other people are going to think, you're wrong. We've thought through all that. And so the answer is we're adding value to value. So other than that, we are focused on BC and this week's game plan, and that's really it. Well, I think the longer it takes to win, absolutely. Like, let's address the elephant in the room. You got to win one before you can win two. And so I think that's a question for each individual player and that sort of thing. I can just tell you that the preparation didn't change, maybe emphasis changed and those type of things. The difference is I've seen that game before, and we didn't find a way to finish. The difference was we were in the same situation again, and we finished. So It's in order to get two, you got to get one. So it was vitally important.
That is the head coach and president of football operations of the Ticats, Orlondo Steinauer. And as mentioned off the top, the football operations department has a new consultant, as former Alouettes head coach Khari Jones has joined the football ops department, and we had a chance to catch up with him after practice today, and we started off by just asking how he's feeling about being a Hamilton Tiger Cat.
Oh, I feel great. I feel fantastic. This is actually my third time with Hamilton, being a player here in 05. This is probably the last team I threw a ball with, I believe, and then being able to coach here from 2009 to 2011, and now being back in 2022. It's pretty cool. The place has changed a little bit, but it's a great place. And so I've been an admirer of this team from afar for a long time, and I like what Orlando has been doing over here. And so when it was posed, it was not a tough decision to want to join. Yeah, well, team-wise, I mean, just their success speaks for itself. Being able to, go to the Grey Cup for 2 years in a row and being really close to winning it, and just the culture that he has developed here with this group is great. I've seen it, from the other side, and you're trying to match that and beat that, and so now, we get to talk and learn from each other and really learn, what that formula is, and it's always developing and everything, and so I'm excited about that, and just whatever I can add to the plate. I'm just really about that. I've been in every position as a player, coach. This time as a consultant, but so it'll be a different challenge for me, a new challenge. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a good fit. I've spoken to Tommy, and I have so much respect for him and what he's been able to do in this league for a long time. And I just want to add value, and I want to help out wherever I can, and just give suggestions, give thoughts, give ideas, learn from what they're doing here. And I told him the same thing. If you don't like anything I say, don't use anything. It's fine. And I just want to just bring a different perspective, and hopefully that can help just that little bit, and that's it. I just want to win. That's the biggest thing, wherever I was, I want to win so no, we're good.
And that is Khari Jones, the newest member of the Ticats organization, brought on board today as a football operations consultant. All right, let's get back to Saturday's game. Yes, the Hamilton Tiger Cats picked up their first victory of the season, so I thought that would be a good time to check in with you guys, the fans, on Twitter. I wanted to know how you're feeling about the Ticats now that they have their first win of the season, and you can always continue to hit me up at @LouieB_TV on Twitter. But we got a couple here I'm going to read too. I'll get to a couple more on Twitter. We got Tiger Sammy says we could easily be 3-2 rather than 1-4 if we learned how to finish off games. BC is going to be tough, but following that, 6 divisional games against Toronto and Montreal, if we can go 4-2 in those 6 games, I think we can win the East. Ticat fan for life at huge CFL fan says cautiously optimistic. It was only Ottawa without their starting QB. We almost lost again. Nothing to write home about. Not a pretty win. Should have been. But a win is a win. Don't think we'll be so lucky in BC this Thursday. Some of you are straight up angry, which again I've told you is your right to be as a fan. Probably not going to read you here on the show, but maybe I'll reach out to you on Twitter to see what you're so angry about. But at Bandit Jeff says it feels great to get the first win of the season. I am concerned though, too many turnovers to keep winning. Podski Wee Wee, Mike from Podski Wee Wee says, I think the O-line is in a good place now, which was always my biggest concern with this team. Coaching needs to be better, and the turnovers need to stop, but overall, I'm feeling more optimistic. Going to be a tough test against BC on Thursday. And Jeff at Habcat says, I'm happy for the win, but let's face it, is Ottawa any good right now? I worry about the offensive calling and some of the head coaching calls. So that's how you're feeling, fans, and like I've always said, you have every right to express how you feel about this team. You are a fan. You cheer for them. You buy their tickets. And so you're always entitled to your opinion. And I always appreciate hearing what you got to say. All right, let's hear from Dane Evans. He spoke after practice today. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, like, we needed a win, and we got a win. Now, we're coaching off of that win, which is always a lot easier to do as opposed to a loss, right? We have a great test in front of us on a short week. So I think today's practice was great, man. I think we had a really great practice, but also weren't, like, out there too long so we can stay fresh and all that stuff. So we know there's some things we got to clean up and some things game plan-wise would be added, taken out, all that. That's normal, though. It just gets a little expedited in this week. I mean, I guess so. That's just how it happened, right? I just wanted to win. I don't care if it takes the last drive of the game or if we're up by 35 with a minute left. You know what I mean? Like, just want to win the game, and that's what it took to win last week. So this week it could look totally different, and whatever it takes, that's what I want to do. Yeah, I don't think Bralon's like wanting. I mean, obviously everybody wants to be the leading guy, all this, that, and the other, but Bralon's like the ultimate teammate above everything, right? Is he a great player? Phenomenal. He should be an all-star every year, in my opinion. The things we ask him to do, whether that's run the ball, block, and then when we let him catch the ball, that's just his God-given ability, right? But he's all about winning too, and I think the biggest thing for him is if you ask him the same question, he's going to say he's going to give you the answer I give you. He doesn't care what he's got to do, whether that's be the leading receiver or the leading passer or the leading rusher. He just wants to win too, and I think everybody knows that about him. So like they know that he doesn't have to be filling up the stat sheet to be doing his job because we ask him to do a lot of things.
It takes a certain player to be able to do that, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It takes a maturity, a leadership.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't just ask anybody to do that. And a lot of that is one, talent level. Yes, IQ is another, but also like the trust he's gotten from Tommy, Coach O, myself, the other guys. It takes a lot to be in that position, and he's definitely earned all of it.
That is Dane Evans, as we caught up with him after practice, and he talked about there at the end about Bralon, Addison, and just something that kind of stood out to me was when Dane was talking to TSN after the game, he had mentioned something about how Bralon is his dog and he trusts him 100%. And Bralon, after we saw what he could do in 2019, we were so excited to see him continue to be a member of this Ticats team. Got hurt in 2021. And now this season, he hasn't been the guy. He hasn't had that breakout game that we're used to seeing from Bralon. And I was wondering if it was starting to get to him because he wants to be, everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to get the catches and the touchdowns and all that stuff. But I've gotten to know Bralon a little bit. Fortunately, getting to do this job in the position that I'm in. And I knew the answer to this, what I was going to ask him, and you'll hear it in just a second. About not being the guy putting up the huge numbers, but playing a different role on this team. And Dane really put it well in that last response. So I wanted to follow up with Bralon on how he felt about it. And here's what he had to say after practice.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Anytime you can get a win in pro football, you got to be grateful for it. Obviously, it wasn't pretty. But like I just said, anytime you can get a win in pro football, if you ask anybody across any league, you got to be grateful for it. So, we're happy to get that monkey off our back. But short week, so we got to, clear that and, get ready for BC. I don't think it really bothers me. I think, like you said, everybody wants to be that guy. I feel like if you ask anybody across any league or any team, everybody wants to be the guy. If you don't want to be the guy, I think you're in the wrong business. But it doesn't bother me, man. As long as we're winning, I don't care if I have 0 yards or 9,000 yards. I just want to win. So, actually, we've been talking about that in the wide receiver room as a whole, is like working on body language and things like that. And I think sometimes when people look, it may look as though it's like, oh, this guy's not getting the ball, so he's upset. But I think it's more just so frustration with not winning. I think when you're not winning, everything is under a microscope. And like I said, we got that win this week, so we're focused on that and going forward. But of course, like, obviously everybody wants to have 1,000 yards every game and 5 touchdowns. But like I said, as long as we're winning, I don't care who it is. It could be me, it could be Steve, it could be Tim, it could be Dave, Tyler, Lamar. AJ got in there and scored this week. I just want to win. I would think just, like you said, kind of maturity or experience or, in 2019 when I had the big year, I had all these numbers and, we lost the Grey Cup. So last year I played 3 games and we lost the Grey Cup again. So I think it's just, I think anybody will tell you, like, I know there's guys that won championships in the past. The person who had no catches and 0 yards was just as happy as the person who had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think at this point, man, in my career, at least for myself personally, I don't want to get into a biography or anything. But like I said, I just want to win. So whoever it is, Tim got the game-winning touchdown this past week, and I was just as happy for him as if it was me. So I think as a whole, I think in our locker room, everybody just wants to win.
It's Bralon Addison as we caught up with him after practice today. Short week for the Ticats. They are back at practice tomorrow, and then that's it. Tomorrow's their day 3. En route to BC on Wednesday, and then BC, yes, late start, but we'll have the call for you right here on the Ticats Audio Network as the Ticats looking for a second win in a row in tough against Nathan Rourke and a good BC offense so far. All right, very pleased now to be joined by RJ Broadhead to break down Saturday's game a bit further. And RJ, a win is a win, and nobody's going to dispute that. I've been told many times it's hard to win football games. But that being said, your thoughts on what you watched on Saturday?
Oh, there were some ups and downs, weren't there, Louie? It's kind of been, we've seen it over the past 2 years with the Tiger Cats, and so I've been doing the play-by-play. It never seems to be the easy way. There's always a little drama in there, a little adventure in there. So it's, you're right. The bottom line is they have a victory, tied for second in the East Division, so they were lucky with the other teams. They got a little help along the way. But there were times where it was a poor start, which we haven't seen from the Tiger Cats. First quarter has been their best quarter, and then they fell behind 10-1. They were able to come back. We've seen a lead at the half a lot of times this season. And then it seemed late with that fumble from Dane Evans and almost a carbon copy from the game before against Edmonton. And I think the whole stadium and everybody listening, and Luke and I included calling the game, kind of had a bad feeling at that point. But credit to the Tiger Cats. They finally won a fourth quarter, and that was a big difference. Also, that coaching call by Orlondo Steinauer with going with the 1-point convert. I know Luke and I were kind of not sure about it immediately, and then Luke realized what Coach O was doing with Richie Leone, one of the best punters. Don't make it too easy for him to get a single. So as it turned out, it was a brilliant coaching decision that shouldn't be overlooked because it was really the clinching factor in getting that win.
I mean, isn't that the thing, though, is that at the end of the day, we're all sitting here. It was like, well, I'm not sure if I would have done that and if I was in Coach O's shoes. Well, it's like, well, A, you weren't, and B, it worked. So you're picking on some negatives here. But, I mean, it really was. And you had a great angle of that Lewis Ward kick from where you were sitting calling the game. But where do you feel like this team – when are they going to figure it out in terms of just a 60-minute effort? Because we've seen them be good. The 17-0 run to end this first half. They've been good in spurts. But what's it going to take to find that full 60-minute effort?
It's a great question, Louie, and they've been searching for it. I think there's a silver lining here that if everything was going great early on, maybe they wouldn't be thinking about it so much, wouldn't be trying as hard to make sure they're getting that full 60 minutes because we're still winning games, would be the attitude. But I think it's good to be going through this. I think it's close. The defense has steadily been getting better, and they were good. They've been good all 5 games, but it's just been improving. It was no secret Ottawa would try to run the ball with William Powell, with Caleb Evans in there, and Jeremiah Masoli hurt, that they would probably prefer to run it. Well, they couldn't. The run defense was great. They only had 90 total yards on the ground. And again, passing, they were allowing over 300 yards in the first 3 games. Last 2 games, right around 200 yards. So they've tightened that up. So the defense, not concerned. Special teams, it's interesting with the kicking game. It turned out it was great. Seth Small was rock solid, and Michael Domagala did an admirable job punting. And Lawrence Woods, of course, tremendous returner. So he's fun to watch. It's the offense, Louie. It's the offense that has to get clicking. Again, the run game not strong for the Tiger Cats. That's something they will try to keep going. There were some boos at Tim Hortons Field later in the game when they tried a couple of runs and weren't able to get a first down and had to kick the ball away. So the crowd's getting restless. Dane had flashes of brilliance, definitely more good than bad. Matthew Schultz came in. He looked good at times, and then Dane came back and looked better than ever, almost like he had that time on the sidelines to visualize and almost see the game better, because he came out and did, ran that final that touchdown drive to win the game. But I think they're really close to a full 60-minute solid game, and I think it has to happen soon, like Thursday soon. They can't have these lapses as much.
RJ, appreciate you doing this. I know you're a busy guy. Lots more to get into throughout the week. I know you'll have Tiger Cats this week. Special time on Wednesday, I think, dropping this week. So save some thoughts for that show, and we'll talk to you very soon, my friend. All
right. Always good chatting with you, Louie.
My thanks to RJ Broadhead for joining me today, and my thanks to you, because we could not do this show without your support. You can subscribe so you never miss an episode wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can hit me up on Twitter at @LouieB_TV, or you can email us gameday@ticats.ca. Provide your comments and feedback. We'd love to hear from you. That's it for us today. We're back tomorrow. Day 3 of practice, from Tim Hortons Field. We'll talk to you then from all of us here at the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie Butko, hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.